Hello, subscriber. In this video series, we are developing games to boost our Python skills. In this video, we will develop a war game, which is a card game, uh, in which there are two players, and entire deck is divided between those two players, and then randomly they pick out a card, put on a table, and each card assign a value, just like seven of club assigns 7 value, and 4 of diamond assign a 4 value. And let's assume these two cards were drawn from each player. Then the player which have drawn the 7 of club will win the game. And in case that both the player draw the same card which have the same values, then a war occurs. In war, uh, both the players have to put additional 3 cards on the table and then run the game. And whoever wins will receive all the cards on the table. Okay. If you want to go deeper or know actually what type of this game, you can refer this web page of Wikipedia. Okay. So this video will be little bit different from, or this game will be little bit different from the other games. Here in this game, there will be a minimum, we can say negligible user interaction, like cause it will the code itself will assign the values and declare the player first is one or the second. Let me show you how the code will run, like how the game will be. This is the only thing a player, like both the player has to enter, and it will automatically tell and simulate all the game. I will enter yes to start the game. And all the rounds of the war game had happened, and it declares player one unable to play card because all the card which the player one had get deposited to player one. Oh, sorry, player two. Okay. This game will be based on object-oriented programming. My this video actually was intentionally made to get you warmed up for the next video, in which we will use object-oriented programming along with user interaction game. In that video, we will create a blackjack. Okay, so I will explain you this code. Uh, Let me warn you, or we can say tell you the first, that this code might be a little bit harder to understand. So if you can practice this code at yourself, then it's very good. Okay. And if you are not able to perform the code by yourself, as I hope you all have done in the previous videos, then just don't feel anything bad in that. In this video, you just have to look how the card and how the object instances created by the object are working. Like how a card class is related to the deck class and how we are using in this. Like how we are using these classes to run the game. Okay. Now I'll explain the code and then we will wind up the lecture. Okay. So let's start. Initially, here I have created two tuples. A first tuple is called as suits and second tuple is called as rank. In first tuples, we have defined 4 values, which are especially the types of card which we have in our original deck. Later on, we have defined the rank, sorry, rank, in which there are all the values which each type of card have, like queen, jack, six of diamond, like that. Okay. Then we develop this dictionary called name that dictionary as values, in which we assign a value to each of this rank. Okay, we will relate these two in the later part of the code. Okay, here we, in our next step, develop our first class to create an object of card. Card will have two attributes, suit and rank. Here we define suit and rank in its init method, and we have kept this value method to assign value of that rank. Okay, and we have also created the string method in it to return this string like rank of that suit, particular suit. Just example, two of diamonds. Okay. Later on in this code, we imported random library, visually which we will use for shuffling the deck. Okay. Now, in second class, we developed a deck. A deck consists of 52 cards, and all these cards are prepared in this deck class. Okay. Same, we have used init method in which we have initiated a empty list, and then we run a nested for loop. First for loop for the suit and the second for loop for the rank. Sorry, rank. Okay. Then we append for each suit all the ranks and created an card object. Okay. I hope you are understanding the video, or I am able to make you understand. Okay. Later on, we shuffle the same deck using random.shuffle function. Next, in this same deck, we created a deal one method to pop up, or we can say pick up a single card from the deck. Next, we created another class called as player to basically name the player and remove a card which is at the player's hand on the first, like as we will divide further 52 deck into two parts, 26 each. Then this code will pop up the card which is at the top of that 26 card, 26 cards. Okay. Later on, if any player win, then all the cards will going to add to that player's cards. Okay. Like let us assume two player won, two players played the game, and one of them won the game. Then all the two cards which were on the table will be deposited to the card of that player whoever was won. Okay. Later on, we return a simple string. Now, in this part, we are going to use these three classes which we have developed to run our game. First, we will create two instances of the player class and name the player as player 1 and player 2. Later on, we have created another instance of the deck class and shuffle that card as well, that deck as well. Then, we have created a for loop to basically divide the 52 cards between two users, two players. For that, we use player 1, an instance of player card, and we have used add cards method which we have defined here. Okay, and we use that add cards method in which we will use the pick one, we can say deal one method of this deck class, which will basically pick one of the cards to and assign it to this player 1, and similarly for the player 2, and this will goes till this will run 26 times, and eventually we will divide the entire deck. Later on, we initiated a variable and assign a boolean value to it, false. This is we kept interface this as a false to ask the user that if he wants to play or not. If the player wants to play, then it will be assigned as a true, or else it will be return some string that whenever you want to play, you can restart the game. Later on, we initiate another variable round num, which is named as round num, and equal assign a value 0 to it. While game one, like if player wants to play, then we will assign a plus one value to the round num. Then we will print the current round which is going on. Then we will check for whether the player has enough cards to play or not. If one of the player doesn't have any cards, then the game will declare that another player has won the game. Later on, if both players have the sufficient card, then we move towards the game. Here we initiated player one card cards a list, an empty list to append the cards which players have on the table. Okay. Then we another initiated a variable at war which is equal to true for our loop, another while loop in which we will we can say conclude a scenario or if else statement, like in that in if else statements, sorry, in that if else statements we will assign the scenarios in which a particular player can win. Okay, the first scenario will be if the value of player 1 has greater than player 2, then player 1 will win, and we will set at war variable equal to false. And if player second has a value of card which is greater than player first, then player second will won the round, and wall with at war variable will be equal to false. Else, if the war happens, like both the players have similar cards which assign a similar value, then this block of code will be run, and it will ask for an additional 10 cards from the player to be drawn on the table. Usually, here is a in a real game, real scenario, player has to draw three cards, but if we put here three, the game will go longer. Okay, I want to like simulate the game for a shorter duration. That's why I kept this 10. You can keep this according to yourself. Okay, here's the end of code. And as you run this, the game will simulate and declare the which player won. As you can see, the entire code and this object-oriented programming is very hectic for the beginners. So first you just go through all the code and understand that the interrelation between these that's classes and all that. Okay. In next video, we will create a more interactive game, Blackjack. Okay. Thank you, viewers.